Hello YouTube viewers, welcome to my channel Science to Technology. In today's show, Camera Tuesday, we're going to talk about Kinefinity Vista announcement. So let's dive deep into this full frame cinema camera. Now here's the deal, this is just an announcement, but this was a very unique development, so I wanted to talk about this. This was announced in NBA 2026, same way consumer electronics have Consumer Electronic Show, CES, that happens every year. This is their own ecosystem basically for camera manufacturers, broadcast equipment, audio equipment, lighting, cinema setups, those sort of things. They go into NAB. So NAB 2026 in 18 April, they announced this puppy. Now again, it is announcement. It should take 2-3 more months before it actually comes into market, and they still have to finalize the specs. I'm pretty sure it's built. They have not announced it. So this is a full frame, big puppy, compact cinema camera, tiny. So it's a 6K open gate raw camera. Now, many times you may have this confusion. It's like, what's the difference between a cinema camera and a normal point and shoot camera or a mirrorless DSLR, those sort of things? Well, primary thing is video pipeline. Basically, sensors are same. Many times made by the same goddamn company. Sensors are same. But when you're talking about a sensor that is made for cinema camera, even from Sony itself, Sony alpha sensors are different than Sony Cine sensors. Cine sensors do not have that phase detect system. The silicon is pure. It's designed for light capturing, nothing else. They do not put basically that phase detect array into it. So it's literally electrically simpler. The photo rendition is better because photo sites are far more relaxed. So it's different. That's why they never come with autofocus system. They don't have it. Like, the only way I have to force fed autofocus into this, it will require a beam splitter that is working off of it. So that's the sensor difference. Like, there is a whole category of sensor that is built for video only, and then there is a video pipeline. The pipeline is the critical part. A sensor, that does not make that big of a difference, but a pipeline does make a bigger difference, meaning the sensors can create bonkers amount of data, and I mean 12-bit, 16-bit, that's easy. That's normal for a sensor. You just take the data, compress the hell out of it, and then give the video file. And again, that's why you know the difference between JPEG, which is like barely 2 to 5 megabytes file, or maybe 15 megabytes, while raw file could be 35 megabytes. On a video, that's the same thing happens. It's bonkers how big of a difference you will have if you can capture the raw file, which sensor does. Sensor has no limitation. Sensor always does that. It's just that you are compressing and throwing the data away. But what if you don't? That's what means by cinema. Then why don't every company does that? Well, first, there was an issue of file sizes. We did not have technology to store it easily. Second, there is a patent from Red. So Red has the patent that you can store basically on a hybrid camera, like they have the lawyer wording on it. If you store raw, you can do that. You cannot compress the raw in lossless format. As in, if you figure out a mathematical system to compress without a file size penalty, yeah, you can't do that. Red has that. Now, good news, patents are only viable for 20 years. 2028 would be the last year that patent will expire. Every camera company, I can guarantee you, in 1 to 2 years from that point, will start to release in-camera RAW. How does Canon does that? C RAW, they pay Red. How does Nikon does that? They got sued by Red and they bought Red to get over this. So trust me. And how does Blackmagic does RAW? They don't have proper full-fledged RAW. That's why you can't change the white balance in RAW file. Even though technically you can, like same way you can change white balance in a RAW photo, you should be able to do that in RAW video technically. It's just that they had to compromise certain things in order to get past the lawyer. So fundamentally, whenever you're talking about this sort of thing, that's raw, uncompressed, or custom format, or this or that in order to cheat that. Again, all of this will be over by 2028, but here we are. Although I think there is a cheat code that if you have cinema camera or like RE does that, I'm storing every single frame. Go deal with it. Like if you open the RE file, you will actually see each single frame saved as a single frame. Like that's how they cheated. So you will not notice it, but it's there. If you want to go, they hide it again. Why would you want to see it? But it's there. They're literally saving each raw file as a complete raw file. So they're like, hey, we are just very fast, continuously performing stills camera. It's almost like, you know, how imagine A1, Sony A1 that can go 120 FPS full raw. It's the same, it just never stops. There is no buffer. It is directly writing it. So this price point of this puppy is supposed to be at this point in time, $3,000, give or take. That's a shocking deal. That's not a big deal. That's a shocking deal, because a full frame cinema grade camera, as in that will give you full raw. And yes, there would be basically, what would be the difference if you had a red camera from Red versus a Red codex from Nikon? Nikon will have that sensor that has a bit of compromise because of that pixel grid, because again, mathematics are the same. They both use the same codex. They paid for it. So codex is the same, but that sensor would come out. So you will get a naked sensor and you will get the full pipeline of cinema system. So it's a small, lightweight for tight shots, and it can, because of this budget, it can work for content creator and camera production, cinema production. Now, cinema production will be fine with it, because again, all cinema is supposed to use manual lenses, because not because you can't trust autofocus, it's simply because you cannot control the intent of autofocus. So whenever you have that focus puller, the guy's job is not to pull focus, is to give intent. That's why, like, whenever you're seeing like a scene, there like a person is there, then the focus slowly shifts into the pew pew head. It's an intent. That's why people pay them. It's an intent. Like if person is breathing, is like, you know, getting dizzy, it's like the autofocus will go out of focus because they want to carry that intent. That's why you pay them. So for those people, it's like, hey, manual focus, we pay for this, we live for this. Content creator, they will have a bit of a hard time dealing with it, but again, manageable. Especially if you have a locked off shot, it can be done. So this is the announcement. As you can see, like, it's a small puppy. Like, again, the sensor, just imagine 9 of these sensors and that's it. And I'm pretty sure it's smaller than that. It's very small. So what about the design? Now here's the deal. Design is, it's made to make your life easy, not to fight it. Like there's Blackmagic camera. Now again, they had some stupid ideas, and they recently made a decent camera. And I was like, this is good, this is nice. But for the, like, I think if their life depended on it, they still would not understand that you should make a camera comfortable to people, not fight them. It's like, no, we're never gonna give you flip out because you should buy an extra monitor. It's like, yeah, keep bitching why you are not selling enough. It's like, why? And again, they made a cinema camera. It's like, it's a big, nice screen, but it's bolted. It's like, even RE does not do that. Why? It's like, no, we needed to make it small. No, you are stupid. You are same stupid as Panasonic was, like, when they jumped into the full frame and it's like, no, we're still gonna use contrast. Bro, you're gonna go bankrupt. And they went bankrupt. So yeah, there are certain decisions. If you make that, history will not be kind to you. The same thing here. Flip out, sir. Why I'm gonna fight you? It's a small camera, it's a cheap camera. If you are buying this, you do not have enough money. Oh, I'm gonna buy a $1,500 monitor. It costs money, and you rather spend that money on lens, battery, or memory card, or things of that nature, rather than spending on a goddamn monitor again. So a big OLED. This is a shocking thing. OLED. Now, like, okay, OLED is not long lived. You're not supposed to use this camera for 15 years, and they will last long enough. Trust me. It's not your mobile phone. And again, mobile phone hours per day, and they still last for years nowadays. We good, we got this. Although TV display do not last. This was bought in 2020, already starting to have dead pixels bottom. So OLED is there, 4-inch display. Now, is that a big deal? Yes. Like, that's bigger than my hyper expensive A7 Mark V. 800 nits. That's a big deal. That's like modern OLED. That means they had some contact with a proper mobile manufacturer, because 800 nits means it's daytime visible. You can see it in daytime rather than doing like this. So that is there. That, again, all of this shows that they are putting effort. Is like, okay, how do I make your life easier? To give you a context, compare Nikon ZR display to any other Nikon. You'll be shocked, like, is this made by the same brand or not? That's how bad every other camera is. Like, they are like 1970, thou shall never exceed it. Metal mounting holes. Now, to be fair, at least 2 or 3 cameras, even one from Canon also has the logic. Is like, hey, this sounds cool. It's like, I'm gonna buy it and then I'm gonna cage it. It's like, yeah, that's a money wasting thing. You're just supposed to have threaded hole. So they have threaded hole on the bottom and threaded hole on the side, threaded hole on the top, the end. You're not supposed to need like a cage. Like, that sounds cool. It's just like unwise. To be fair, Sony FX series do that. And again, even one cheap R50, if I'm not mistaken, that has that, like, you know, vertical threaded hole. Is like, dude, if you need horizontal and vertical, there is no need for cage. Direct threaded hole. So it's there. And they are using, because again, they are not a big company, they are using Sony NPF battery. This battery might outlive Sony itself. This was made for original handycams and all that. They are still being used by lights, monitors, other cameras, many things use that. Like, it's still being used. Now, to be fair, Sony does make some news gathering cameras that still use this battery, but damn, this battery has lived. And they also understand the fact that this is a big energy hungry puppy. So how do you feed it? The battery is cool and all, but how do you feed it? Well, you have a DC jack, which is a locking jack, limo jack. Again, not proprietary BS, locking jack. Just plug it in and forget about it. Two full-size HDMI. Why? Well, most of the time you may want to have, again, not guaranteed, but you may want to have a big monitor. Cool, you have it. But what if you want to add a wireless transmitter? Cool, add it. Again, this is just for convenience. There is no necessity to it. It's just for convenience. They have it. It's like, don't worry about it. We got this. And CFast Type B. Now, thankfully, after a long, grueling era where we did not actually had a memory format big enough to handle cinema output. Now, be mindful, we had the capacity. It's just that we did not have read or write speed fast enough to handle it. So, CFast Express Type B, Compact Flash Association basically, Type B, it's SSD. Meaning, if you want to, you can buy an adapter, open it up, put a M.2 SSD into it, plug it in, it will work. So it's basically SSD. So the cost is very cheap, and not to mention, it finally got adopted by almost all brand, excluding the brand that made it, which was Sony. Sony made it. They called it XQD. They gave it to Compact Flash, and Sony is like, okay, how can we do lose motion? If we do not do lose motion, we are not Sony. If you're old enough, you know Sony did the same lose motion with secure digital SD cards. They're like, no, we're gonna call Magic Gate lose motion. They died. They do that. The Sony has always that habit of doing lose motion. So only good thing is Blu-ray that did won out over HD DVD, but that's a whole different can of worms. This is cheap enough, compact enough, and trustworthy enough. And how fast you can read and write? The latest you can do is like 40 Gbps, small b. So you are looking at almost 3,500 megabytes per second. Like, you need to have very fast SSD to actually dump speed. Like, card is like, bro, I'm good. So CFast Type B is there, and again, prices have come down, but again, recently price went up because of AI brain damage, but we can't do much about it. Cooling fan is there because again, it's a video camera, it will heat up. So it's a cooling fan is there. USB audio class. It is shocking to me that camera companies have not learned that you should transfer audio digitally. There's like, we're gonna use 3.5 mm jack. It's like, why? We crossed 1930. Like, here's the funny thing. There's this technology before basically cassettes were out, and before CDs became the dominant thing, there was a small gap known as M-Disc player. That was a Sony made proprietary format. It was successful, but here's the funny thing. They figured out optical audio transmission over 3.5 mm jack, meaning you could have one AA battery powered headphone, basically audio recorder, another audio recorder. You can transmit audio via optical fiber. It would work. Like, it was SPDIF. You remember your TVs have a SPDIF port? Same technology. They had it. In 1990, they had it. We still did not got it in a camera. It's like, why? And this company is like, hey, we got you, man. USB. And it's like, okay, does USB have a method of working which does not require additional driver? Yes. Default USB implementation has what we call webcam class and audio class. Meaning there is a default driver, and basically both party can agree without requiring a proprietary driver. So you can plug a Rode Wireless Go, DJI mics, anything that should work. And here's the shocking part. In principle, again, once it comes out, in principle, they should be able to work with recorders, big recorders. All of them have the ability to transmit audio over USB. I do not know how many channels, but if you can even send a 2 channels or 4 channel, because again, even my camera can digest 4 channel. So it should be possible to send 4 channel. And even if not, sending direct audio recording from the recorder into this makes your life much easier. That should have been basic from 2010. It's not, it's now. I'm like, no major company does this. Why? Now, to be fair, Sony does have half brain damage solution. It's like, okay, buy our proprietary hot shoe. So that's why I bought Sony. Like, it had this DJI Mic 3 does have a hot shoe adapter. You can directly plug it into the hot shoe of the camera, and tada, you can even transmit 4 audio channels separately over digital audio. Isn't digital magical? So they have it full USB. Like, imagine you're recording like 8 channels, 8 microphones, GGS, like cameras, like, I got you, fam. Direct. You do not have to worry about time code and syncing. Direct audio syncing is there. So everything about this is like, how can I make your life easier? Now, let's understand Kinefinity itself. Kinefinity is a young company. It's from Beijing, China, 2012. World should have went to boom by then, but it's a old company, not that old. Be mindful, Blackmagic is older than this. Blackmagic is a decent camera company for broadcast industry. Everything else is, I think they're making some good move with DaVinci Resolve, but looking at their camera, it's like they almost cripple it willingly. It's like, no, no, no. If we actually give a flip out screen, more people will actually use it. We don't want that. Let's block it in. Because F the customer. They are paying us, but F them. So they started with K9 Raw S35, this puppy. It was decent. It was not like whoa, but it was decent. They got out of the ground, and after a while, they started to make a lot of cinema cameras that was fraction of the price and decent enough, as in like these puppies. And the camera is now at this point, like Kinefinity, old enough, sold enough in Europe, in America, that people are like, it's not the greatest, it's not the second coming of Christ, but it's good. It's good. It's a good system. And because they actually listen to the customer, the feedback is tight. For example, this is their older version. How do you record massive video file? This is a few years ago. So that time, NVMe SSD was not a sorted thing. So what could you do? Directly plug in 2.5-inch SSD. Directly plug the goddamn SSD. Now be mindful, if you know Atomos Ninja, they also had that same solution. It's like, just plug the goddamn SATA 3 SSD. Again, SATA 3 is 600 Mbps. The NRAW that is available in, Red RAW that is available in Nikon ZR is only 300 Mbps. SSD still would, to this day, would be good enough. They're like, hey, directly plug it in. Now, to be fair, Red also does that, but they are like, no, 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 that would be useful. Let's create a proprietary format and then just create a cover for it. They're like, dude, just normal SSD, bro. Take it and go. Now, that was that solution that time. Okay, SSD, that was cheap. They adapted to it. Cool, awesome. Meaning, if you had bought this, doing large shootings and ingestion, all of that would be easy. Cool, awesome. Then the second model comes in, these puppies, Mavo Edge 6K. Cool. This time, M.2 is the cheapest. So they're like, okay, we're gonna make this M.2. This is the only company that figured out, hey, M.2 can just work. You can just create these cards. Now these cards are double duty card. For example, if you're like, hey, I want 2 TB, pay this much. I want 1 TB, pay this much. Cool. You're like, oh, no, I think the prices are high. I want my own. Okay, buy the blank one, put your NVMe to it. If you have, let's say, old NVMe, or you just had something else, some spare, use that. And be mindful, all these cards are card reader also. You do not need a separate card reader. All of these have USB-C port, can read out data at 10 Gbps. By the way, that old camera, it's faster than what I have on this. They figured it out. It's like, it's just an M.2 enclosure. The card is M.2 enclosure. Now they're like, okay, CFast Type B finally is mature enough, finally being manufactured enough, barring AI brain damage. That's the thing. So how quickly they are learning and adapting. Be mindful, this solution still would be viable today. Again, NRAW does not go that fast. Red RAW does not go that fast. C RAW from Canon does not go that fast. SATA SSD is still good enough. It's like, bro, man, like I can digest it. And it's a like sequential large write files. Like, bro, I can do this all day. This, like, bro, don't worry about me. The only issue would be like, they have to increase the cost of the, basically the enclosure. Simply because the current enclosure have the basic chip that only goes to 1 Gbps. You may want an advanced chip that can go 4 Gbps. So that's why I said, like, switching to CFast Type B makes sense today, because now you have that card reader that is USB 40 Gbps. You can buy it, cards are available. If you don't have money, buy a cheaper card reader, you can do that. So how quickly they listen to the customer, it's rapid, because biggest issue with large raw video files is the file size. They're like, they make it easy. They have SSDs, onboard recording. By the way, this model has onboard SSD. Now again, it's not a big SSD. I'm pretty sure they wanted a read and write format and endurance. So you can get a same NAND flash that is designed for endurance and same that has capacity. Endurance one generally reserves too much cells to make sure that they guarantee you that this will work after 10,000 writes and all that. So file sizes are smaller. So 256 GB, I think 128 GB is available. Is that enough? For small formats, more than enough. For raw format, not too much. But again, compared to zero of every other camera, that shut up take money. By the way, this camera company is the only one that natively thought of having a UPS in your camera. For example, you could have bought this. You could have bought a hand that they sell. And you're like, okay, I'm shooting it and I have a V-mount battery or T-mount adapter battery. Cool, awesome. Here's the, what happens if the battery runs out? No problem. Swap the battery, put a new one. How will it run during the swap? The handle has a Sony battery to make sure that it can jump. Like this sort of thought. I'm like, you thought about that. So fundamentally, let them be like, nothing about them is like, whoa. Everything about them is like, nice. So what can we expect in the future? Well, here's the deal. Camera brands just can't keep increasing prices, because here's the deal. Fundamentally, there is upper limit, which we call prestige. It does not matter if you can't buy it. For example, this car is amazingly amazing. It's just gonna cost $50 trillion. You're like, buy. That's the whole point. Like everything has upper limit. More and more people are getting away from photography, and I can't blame them, because it's bonkersly expensive. Like bonkersly expensive. There used to be a time where APS-C used to be like, hey, cheap. Remember D3100? My friends had that. Remember D5200? It was super cheap and awesome. Remember EOS series, Rebel T3i, T4i? Those were cheap. They were awesome. You look today, it's like, lol. Like A7C Mark II in India is painfully expensive. It should not be that expensive. So here's the deal. What happens if you do that? Well, you go do the route of RE. RE was sold April 2026. So acquisition, Thomas Riddles, I think, is the one who acquired RE. Now be mindful, RE was a family-owned company from 1917. They are the original OG. And they not only made cameras, they made lights, they made lenses, they made tripod. They were the OG company. And they, again, everybody has upper limit. You can keep increasing the price, but everybody has upper limit. Where it's like, oh, every time they're like, no, we're gonna create our proprietary format. I'm like, bro, there is this industry known as computer industry. In that, there is a segment known as enterprise. Buy their SSD. Trust me, any basic bitch technology you can build, they would be like, bro, we had this for 15 years. It's like, no, we had to create. They did not want to use CFast Express. Cool, awesome. It was not strong enough. Just use the SSD. Now, M.2 is not designed for hot swappable. But you know what is designed for hot swappable? Server M.2. It's designed for hot swappable. It's energy efficient. It has capacitor. So if you yank it out, it will save the file that is in the capacitor while it's physically detached. But no, random bullshit. Here's the deal. You can keep doing it. These little things, who cares? Christopher Nolan is not going to care. No, every time, everybody else who has to buy the camera, they will care. And they'll be like, you know what, I'm going to rent it. Now, renting sounds cool. It's just then when you realize if everybody starts renting it, every new model you release, you have to increase the price. Now, more and more people will buy less and less of it. And voila, your company would be sold. And do not say, oh, this for better and all. No, if you're being sold from 1970, you've been fine for almost a century. You have to understand that. And be mindful, you can pay attention to red pricing also. Red use went from 10,000, 20,000 to like, whoa, 6,000, 8,000, those sort of pricing. Because they are also noticing it. If everybody starts renting it, you are not going to be profitable for long. And not to mention the gap between these sort of flagship system and what you can achieve with even something like this, that is shrinking dramatically. So, and those are baby issues. The demon that they have to fight is AI in the SoC, meaning this puppy that is in your mobile phone, which we call a system on a chip, now is getting a new puppy, that is NPU, Neural Processing Unit. Now, why that's a big deal? Here's the sensor, camera, like this puppy, the lenses and all that, they have a physical limitation. It will be poo-poo. Like there is no law of physics where A7 Mark V with a G Master Mark II lens 24-70 will be able to like anywhere comparable to this. Like this will look poo-poo in comparison. But here's the, then why does it look good? Well, because you are not seeing the photo. If I showed you the raw photo, like no addition work to it, it would be horrendous. But here's the NPU understands what you want to see. NPU sees what the camera is seeing. So NPU paints the image that you wanted to see. The end. It shows you what you want to see. The end. You can't compete with that. Like you flat out can't compete with that. So that's the biggest demon that's happening. And be mindful, smartphones are like this close to shooting raw. Like Apple, because again, Apple has patent on ProRes. They're like, hey, our camera should shoot raw. Then there was like, sir, you do not give SD cards. Your memory is not big enough for like, multi-terabyte shoot. So it's like, okay, we're gonna give SSD. So it has 10 Gbps, meaning 1 gigabyte per second. You can directly write, when you are doing the ProRes recording, directly write into SSD. And here's the deal. Smartphones were the first to utilize, hey, USB has an audio system, digital audio transfer. You could have done this with Rode, you could have done this with mic. Almost every other brand you could have done that you can directly plonk the receiver on the mobile phone and directly record digital audio digitally in the video file. Mobile phone got there first before a dedicated camera did. So this is like, there is no competition. Once you're getting raw file in broad daylight, again, it will be a night and day difference the moment light goes down. That's why I'm specifying. In sunlight, if you have well lit scenarios, this is way too close to a professional camera, way too close. Now again, oh, I'm a professional, I can tell. Of course you can. Most people can't. And here's the deal, where most people are consuming content. People are watching movies on these puppies. Like, I'm still old school, I watch something on this, but like way too many people are watching it in this. So fundamentally, things have changed. And these camera companies are like, but what if we F the customer? It's like, what if we never upgraded from 1970? So fundamentally, again, that's why these Chinese companies are good. That's why competitions are good. Because again, Chinese company went through that era where early days, if I told you Chinese, you would have thought of cheap, crappy products. Now, if I tell you, it's like cheap, quality products. Why? They're the same factory. Everything is made there. So they're like, bro, the same company that makes hardware for RE, RE made a light engine that is like, dedicated colors of RGB LEDs, so they can give a true color, white color. Spectrum output would match incandescent light bulb. That is the best light output out there. Once the Chinese manufacturer figured out you are doing it, they made their clone. They are the manufacturers. Same light engine quality, again with different name and trademark. Ta-da! You could spend $50,000 for their light, or you can just buy a cheap one. And like, but what if it fails? Buy 2-3 of them. You still have money left. So that happened. That switch happened. So again, that's why I said prestige. Again, let's say Linus Tech Tips can afford to buy RE lights. Most other YouTubers can't. So that creates a feedback loop. The less and less people buy it, the more you have to increase the price of that to justify your existence, and voila. So fundamentally, all major players have to learn, evolve, and grow. I'm fed up with this fact of like this Sony loose motion of like, I'm gonna create our own memory format. I'm like, that is frustrating. And again, that I could live with that because I'm old enough to live with basically Magic Kit. This inability to handle USB audio is frustrating. Like, this has 10 Gbps. It does not transmit file at 10 Gbps. Only 5 Gbps USB is actually data transmission. And yes, I have checked everything, the cable, the handshake, and yes, Windows show that it's a 10 Gbps. And yes, I've tested with other SSD also. I bought a 20 Gbps SSD just to double check that. It works. My computer is not the bottleneck. My SSD is not the bottleneck. The camera is. So again, all of these things pile up. Where it's like, do I really? Again, these camera companies do not have autofocus tech yet. But how many years before they figured out how to do that? Not too much. And again, compare that to Blackmagic. It's like, Blackmagic, like, what if we never learn? What if we do random BS like 12K camera? It's like, dude, your sensor is tiny. For 12K, you need at least medium format. No. What if in Micro Four Third we give 12K? Yeah, it will flop. Oh, you don't even know what camera name is. That's the whole point. Like, oh, what if we give 4-inch awesome screen? Awesome, sir. GG, sir. But what if we bolt it into the camera? It's like, even camcorders did not have that issue. So there is a point where you have to learn. You have to learn, you have to grow, or slowly wake up tomorrow where it's like, oh, we have to sell the company now. Because again, Red is not gonna swim a lot in money the moment 2028 patent expiration happens. You will notice that, hey, all camera companies can give you RAW now. And I'm pretty sure Android will also start to do that. Guaranteed. 2029 max. So this was my presentation on basically this new camera announcement and the vibe that is shifting. Hopefully you have liked it, learned from it. In that case, please hit the like button, share it amongst everyone. That will help me a lot. If you have extra liked it, please press the hype button. If you didn't like it, didn't enjoy it, I urge you to press dislike. Press it twice to show me excitement. Please leave a comment because I do try to reply to all of them. Subscribe, press the bell icon if you're free. And as always, thanks for watching.